What is going on, everybody? Anon here, and my voice is finally starting to come back after a week of pain. Hopefully, everybody had good Thanksgiving, made it through the weekend. We start the grind again tomorrow, but pretty much 2 weeks from now, everything's going to start to slow down for the holiday. So, I want to go through a lot of distribution updates that are super important for folks with timing of wave twos, wave ones, some print. I shouldn't say print runs. Some early allocations from Ascended Heroes. So let's get started. And I want to start with One Piece because it's obviously not on Southern, doesn't carry it. And again, I use Southern because it is a very easy to use, very clean website, and it's super user friendly. One Piece OP13 is going absolutely nuts right now. Some of the chase cards are selling for like 12 grand or something like that. PSA 10, I think the Luffy was selling for, but I believe wave 2 has shipped out. I'm not sure because I got all of my allocation in wave 1. OP13 is the last light order until we start to get heavy, where we will get waived. And for those of you who are really interested in One Piece, the OP13 order we had placed back in February of 2025. And from our perspective, given Bandai's propensity at that point in time to blow games up, we eased into it a little bit. And look, wasn't necessarily the right move given where One Piece is right now. But we didn't take a bath. So, we're continuing to ramp up. Remember, OP14, the print run is going to be significantly less than OP13 because OP13 is an anniversary set. So, it's kind of apples to oranges. Then we have EBO3 coming out, which is the waifu boob girl set, at least on the cover. It's been out in Japan for a couple weeks now, but that is going to come out in February. Once I have some idea of allocations, I'll let you guys know. So moving on, I just want to touch on Godzilla for a second because there is a new set coming out. The orders were already due, but the Godzilla 1 booster boxes, and they're actually selling a couple a day. They're over $100 on TCG Player, and I have no idea why. I've seen some graded cards on eBay. I saw one from BPO2 that sold for a couple grand the other day. If anybody knows anything about it, let me know. Please comment because I did buy some boxes because I thought it was a cool set. In fact, I learned about it in Gamma last year, which is really the reason why I placed the order in the first place. But really interested to hear what people have to say. Moving to Gundam. Gundam seems to be steady. The sell-through for GDO2 is fine. For GDO1, it's really starting to dry up. Every time it gets below 100 boxes on TCG Player, there's another 100 boxes that get found. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Hopefully at some point it starts to dry up and there starts to be a little bit of tailwind on the product. GDO3 comes out in January, so really not a whole lot going on here. I think I mentioned before, I've heard that reprints are coming from STO1 to STO4, which are the 4 starters, in March. I don't know if that's going to include new type rising booster boxes or not, which is the GDO1 set. So that being said, let's go to Riftbound League of Legends, and this is going to be really, really interesting. So I do not have numbers on the reprint for Origins that's coming the end of December / early January. I should have some idea of magnitude in the next week or so as distributors get their purchase orders and then they start to do allocations. I have no freaking idea what the price point of these is going to be. Presumably it will be the same as the original issuance, but as we know, Southern likes to do their bundles. GTS and PHG like to do their above market pricing. So we'll see. I mean, the boxes are at $300, so I would be shocked if distribution doesn't try to take their fair share. But who knows? Spirit Forged, I've gotten my OP allocation, which is really, really nice. it looks like the population of this is going to be about the same as what the first wave of Origins was. So we'll see how that works out. And then we have the May set that was just solicited this past week. Orders due in February. I think the most interesting thing at this point is, look, the demand is through the roof. Well, let's see what UVS is able to print, because I have no idea what the capacity is of UVS. I don't really deal with any of their games up until now. So I would just be careful with the current prices on Origins, because I could very easily see a buttload of the product coming, moving to Weiss. So the free run second print should ship this week or next week. Not a whole lot of other things that are interesting. Nazareth Tomb, the Undead Volume 3. Volume 1 did really, really well. Volume 2 was a dumpster fire. It's one of those sets that I would stay away from unless you really like the IP. And 99% of the IPs in Weiss I don't know anything about, because it's generally speaking Japanese anime and not the most mainline stuff. So moving on, let's talk very briefly. So Sorcery, the dumpster fire that is Sorcery. So the allocations for the booster boxes were about 40% of ask. Some stores got a little bit more if they were pushing a lot of Arthurian Legends or beta. Rudy did a sale the end of last week and basically undercut the boxes, and there's going to be a bunch of angry people that say there's no map. Well, there was a map for beta and for Arthurian Legends, and they came out and they threatened stores because the management team for Sorcery is not the most competent management team in the world. So Rudy comes out and basically offered 3 booster boxes, a pre-con deck, the promo, and the playmat for the equivalent of $400 if you bought 2 cases, which is a master case of booster boxes, which the distribution price on that is about $368, $370, somewhere like that. So it's effectively just a pass-through. And yeah, I know he doesn't do business with Southern. At least I don't believe he does. He may do business with PhD, but I am assuming he received the boxes directly from the company. Since he did that sale, it's just been a mad dash to the exit of all the big stores dumping the product. So if he was trying to create FOMO and show how much demand there was by undercutting the market by a substantial amount, it still took an hour and a half to sell through 2,000 boxes. If you like the product, buy it. I like the game. I like the cards. I hate the management team. They don't know what they're doing. And quite honestly, when the cost of boxes is $96 to $103, depending on distributor, and going into pre-release, boxes are selling for $120, $125 on TCG Player. There's no money to be made. So yeah, as a retailer or wholesaler, I guess, since we buy in bulk and sell in bulk, it's a total waste of time for me. There's just no money to be made. And I quite honestly don't see why any store would carry it unless they have an existing play group, because there's no incentive to, because there's no money for you. So moving on, this is where the fun begins. Let's talk Magic here. So Magic, for those of you who haven't seen, all the distributors got a sizable wave of Avatar play boxes and collector boxes last week. Now, some distributors have allocated. Other distributors I am waiting to hear from. But this is presumably the same as what happened with Spider-Man, where there was a massive amount that was moved from Amazon to distribution in order to book the revenue. Now, I don't know for certain, but I do know that I have gotten probably 60% of my initial allocation in after the fact collector boxes. So it's a fairly sizable chunk. We've seen Aether Drift and Edge of Eternity's Commander decks come out, and it doesn't look like the market is completely flooded with those. I don't have all the numbers yet because, quite honestly, I really haven't spent a whole lot of time on them. I bought a couple hundred of each, and we'll sell them. We'll sell through them in due time. But for those of you who follow the channel, I've done a series and I'm through 2 videos. I need to get to the 3rd one over the holiday here, which is kind of the money video, showing that they're not issuing product or reprinting product when the market needs it. They're reprinting when they need it financially to hit their quarters. So they initially had Lord of the Rings and Murders of Karloff Manor, Commander displays set to ship in November. I think October, November-ish was the initial time frame. I'm hearing December. If they get pushed to December, you know that they're having trouble hitting their number for Q4, which is about $500 to $525 million of revenue for Magic the Gathering. It is about 15% or 20% less than their Q3 number. If they push it into Q1, then they've comfortably hit it by cramming all of these products down distributors' throats, which is creating a space issue. For those of you who have sizable accounts with distributors, I'm sure they've been calling and asking you to take cases of product because they're running out of space in warehouses all over the place due to the amount of product. We also got the Foundation's starter collections in this week. We shipped all those out. Those things are heavy, man. Each one of those cases is 17 pounds, and for something that small, it is really, really inefficient. Let's see what else. As a reminder, in Q1, we are supposed to get Lord of the Rings, Ixalan, and Wiles of Eldraine set box reprint, presumably the last one. So there should be plenty of opportunity to stock up on those. If you have some, I would sell through them at this point. Again, just a friendly reminder, they're coming. And then, your Bloomburrow is going to come out again and all kinds of stuff. But I think Bloomburrow is going to be in print for a long time. Right now, these guys they set their 3-year rotation window. And that is, again, in my view, they changed it a month before Lord of the Rings came out so they could print Lord of the Rings longer. And I know there's going to be people in the video saying, well, that's not standard. You don't know what you're talking about. They're just doing it so they can print it as much as they can. And, every now and then they do communicate. And that was one of the times they communicated. Lorwyn, we should start getting some interesting allocations here. Oh, Final Fantasy Holiday is started to ship from pretty much everybody. Going to be interesting to see what happens with the product. I am betting that there's going to be dump after dump after dump of that on Amazon. We're already starting to see a race to zero where Wizards is back to the old Cynthia Williams days of just dumping the shit out of the product. Again, they're just trying to hit a revenue target. So we'll see what happens there. Moving on to Pokemon. Pokemon, this is the big one. So Wave 2 of Phantasmal and the Mega Charizard EX UPC, I believe, has shipped from Mad Owl Magazine Exchange and Alliance, or at the very least, I've been invoiced for them. I have not been invoiced for them at the other 4 distributors. Presumably, they're coming next week. So just be on the lookout for that. I think the initial guidance was around December 5th. So it looks like it's right on time, which when they start waiving things, but they're hitting the second wave right on time. It's just, in my mind, it's another data point that shows that they're not lagging on printing. They're waiving them because they are prioritizing printing another product and accumulating that in the meantime. So other than that, we have the Mega Kangaskhan boxes coming out this week. We also have the Venusaur boxes coming out this week. So last item here. So we have these Pokemon Day collection things, not super relevant. I think I mentioned last week, it's about the same amount of population as any one of these individual EX boxes. It's 3 packs in a promo. I think it's $14.99 MSRP. Not much to see there, but Ascended Heroes, I do want to talk about this because I have gotten 3 early allocations and I have a good idea of what those distributors are getting. And I think or I made a video before about just comparing the release schedule of of Prismatic Evolutions, Black and White, and Ascended Heroes. And the Ascended Heroes rollout is really funky because you have the tech stickers and 2-packs on the release day. You have the tins, which the tins are always lag, but the ETBs never lag. So that's a little bit of a red flag coming 20 days after. And then you have the poster collections. Now, the poster collections are different because I think they have 8-packs instead of 3. Let me just check real quick. 6 units per case, 10 packs. So this is cool. So they're back to the the same as the 5x5 size-wise, I'm guessing. So you're going to get more of a bang for the buck. There's really no throwaway product here like there was with the with some of the other ones. Now, I thought there was a binder collection also. I don't see it here. But then we see the booster bundles don't come out until the end of April. So this is a 90-day or an 85-day delay from start to finish on this. And the allocations that I've gotten for the ETBs, I am 2.5 to 3 times the number of ETBs that I've gotten for Mega 1, Mega 2, Destined, and then Black and White combined. So if you take the black SKU and the white SKU, combine them, take that times 2.5 to 3 times. That's how much product that my early allocations are for the ETBs. Have confirmed that with the overall amount of product that distribution is getting. So Ascended Heroes, as I've been saying probably since May of this year, Q1 of 2026 is really when the floodgates start to open with print capacity. Because again, Millennium Print Group is a for-profit business. They have customers that aren't Pokemon, even though they're wholly owned subsidiary of Pokemon. They're not fully integrated and only printing for the Pokemon company. They are doing that as they free up print capacity, aka rolling off purchase orders that they have committed. So it's coming. And again, in my opinion, the part of the reason why we're seeing the different waves, and we've seen them for a while now, and part of the reason why Mega Evolutions is pushed out over 40 days longer, 30 days longer than the prior specialty sets is because they're prioritizing printing booster boxes. In the end of Q1, they are going to have a massive dump of booster boxes on distribution, which I think we would all welcome. However, distribution being already overloaded with Magic product is going to create a significant logistical logjam. So stay liquid, get ready for it, and have a great Sunday. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and we will see you next week.